One of the things that happens when you find yourself on this path to personal growth is, well, at first you're kind of, your eyes are opened up like to this world that you never knew existed, and all of a sudden you're like realizing that you have more control over your life than you thought. And you start to find this power within yourself, and you learn that you could be, do, or have anything. Just changing the mindset, changing your habits, changing the way that you're doing things every day and the way that you're seeing the world around you, right? So initially you go through all these like aha moments. And usually, especially if you're following a mentor of some sort, um, usually you'll go from there to then reaching a point where you almost begin to become really hard on yourself. Because now that you know all of these things, and now that you know that it's up to you and you hold all this power, and it's up to you to become who you wish to become, all of a sudden there's like a lot of pressure. And all of a sudden you can start to beat yourself up, and you can start to really compare yourself to your mentor, and you can start to feel less than. You can start to think like, well, why is this guy or girl, why are they able to do it and I'm not? And why are they so inspired every day and I'm not? And I already know the things that I need to know. I already understand, and I have tools, and yet I'm still not applying them, and I'm still stuck where I am. And there's even this saying that says, never meet your mentor in real life because you'll be really disappointed. And I'll tell you why. Actually, it's a funny story as to why that is very true. That if you met your mentor in real life, you would be disappointed. My mentor, when I first bumped into this world of personal development, was Wayne Dyer. I read one of his books called The Power of Intention. It blew my whole world apart, and I realized things that I had never realized in the past. I knew that from that moment on, my life was going to be very, very different, and I started to take responsibility for every single thing that's ever happened to me or continues to happen to me. I fully own it, and I understand all of these different things, right? And then I started to kind of compare myself to Wayne Dyer, because I was like, man, this man is just so perfect. Like, he's written all these books, and he's got all this insight, and he's so spiritual, and he's so kind, and his heart is full of love. And of course, I try to be there sometimes, but I'm not there all the time. And I would just like go through like the things that he would talk about, and I would try to do those things. Like, this man, not only he wrote like so many books, right? He would write every day. He would run 8 miles every single day as part of his routine. And he was not young. He was older, like I think in his 60s at this point, running 8 miles a day, waking up at 4 a.m. every single day to meditate. I can't get myself to become a morning person for the life of me, right? But this man was waking up at 4 a.m. to meditate. No coffee, gave up coffee completely. He just basically said, that's something that I used to do, but I don't do anymore. Same with alcohol, just gave it up. And so at one point I heard somewhere that he had been divorced, and I thought to myself, well, surely his wife must have done something, or surely, he was so high and enlightened and inspired that her energy wasn't just able to keep up with him. And that must be why, they ended up splitting apart. But then I listened to one of his talks towards the end of his life. And during that talk, he shared a lot about his personal life. And he shared that one of his daughters, he had, I don't remember how many children, I want to say like 6. But he said one of his daughters fell into addiction, actually had a drug addiction. His divorce was because of his infidelity, not hers. He was also a drug addict himself, struggled with addiction to drugs and alcohol, and he struggled with all kinds of illnesses and ailments, which, if you know anything about illnesses and ailments, you know that it's all related to the emotions and the traumas that we hold on to and that we don't release, and they manifest themselves in the body as physical things. When he shared all of these dark aspects of himself during this talk, it made me realize that we all are here to live the human experience. And we all share every element of all of those highs and all of those lows. And even though you might be on a personal growth journey, it doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden flip a switch and be perfect. It doesn't mean that you're going to reach your highest level of yourself just because you now realize that you can. You will still experience every single type of emotion that we're able to experience as humans. If you weren't meant to experience those things, they wouldn't exist. We're meant to learn. We're meant to have and experience both sides of the coin. We're meant to feel hate so that we can fully appreciate and understand love. We're meant to have moments where we fall down so that we can learn how to get back up. And then maybe we can teach others how to get back up through those experiences that we've had. But the bottom line is that you don't ever want to compare yourself to any mentor or anyone that you feel is farther along the journey than you are, because you never actually fully know what all of the different elements of their lives are. And you don't know what they've overcome or what they're still overcoming, because it is an ongoing journey that you have to wake up for every single morning. It's not like one day you're just going to wake up and you're like, it's me. I'm the perfect me now, the me that I've always wanted to be. You're going to be always evolving. You're going to be constantly growing. And you're going to be constantly learning. But you're only going to learn from your own experiences, from your own mistakes, not from other people's. And by comparing yourself to your mentors or to anyone, you're really doing yourself a major disservice, because there's no lessons in the comparisons. There's only lessons in looking at your own life and reflecting on your own things and where you've come and where you're going and where you want to be.